Hello, I'm David Oscar and welcome to Sign 7 News, bringing you the latest stories on the last week in the sign and wide format print industries. This week, Vism calls for industry support for Ukraine. UK storms put signage to the test. Astley celebrates 30 years in the industry. And Amscreen cuts ribbon on new Bolton facility. First, Vism, a project management firm for graphics and signage businesses, has called on the industry to support Ukraine via donations and local action due to the ongoing war. With an office in Lviv, western Ukraine, the company's staff have had their lives turned completely upside down over the last few days. Chief Executive Officer Dan Tyler has asked people to use actions and not just words. Next, with the UK recently facing a barrage of storms with winds reaching over 100 miles per hour, signs throughout the country were put to the test. Various locations saw signs blown off shops and different infrastructure. The Sussex Sign Company says that the most crucial thing about sign stability is to get signs checked at least annually to make sure fixings and fittings are all safe. Now, supplying signage to the industry for nearly 100 years and having recently celebrated 30 years since the current directors took over, Astley has amassed a wealth of experience in supplying the retail, leisure and hospitality sectors. To find out how the company celebrated its recent anniversary, we spoke to Managing Director for Astley, Gavin Redhead, who tells us more.
So Astley was originally founded about 90 years ago when it was part of the George Nixon Group in Manchester. My co-directors got involved in the business in the late 80s and established a northeast base for them, crossing Gateshead after a couple of years, because they felt that there was a real market across here that needed to be developed, and they were keen to come back to their native northeast. And then after a couple of years realised that there was quite a lot of potential with the business, and they realised that the Manchester setup was perhaps struggling a little bit. So they kind of offered to do a management buyout, which was accepted. And that was the main significant move from Manchester up to the northeast. And there was also separately a southern office set up at the time. And that's where the new business as it is at the moment was set up in 1990, and where we've developed from over the years. So it was a huge thing for us to be able to celebrate, but of course we had the difficulty of pandemic hitting exactly when the 30 years was. So we had to sort of stall the celebrations. That's sort of a little bit on the back burner, but what we did manage to do was get some celebrating in with our staff, who've obviously been a key part of the business. So over a month during November last year, we focused on the 30 years. We did sort of a 30-day raffle in-house where there was prizes available for everyone. We did a celebration day where there was cakes. We got food vans in. Everybody had free lunches. We were able to do gifts for everyone, and really try and, within the remits of any restrictions at the time, really try and sort of feel that we'd been able to celebrate in our own way, so that we were able to acknowledge with staff the significant milestone. We'll have more events planned going forward once we're able to open up and kind of welcome more customers back into the into the business. So thinking back over 30 years, you forget how many changes there's been in the business and how things have developed and how client expectations have changed. Basic developments like LEDs, they've been a massive change in the market compared to thinking back to the days of fluorescence and neon, etc. We've got new legislation such as the BSEN 1090 certification for the structural steel manufacture, which is something that we've embraced and embedded in the business, and something that we very much encourage clients to take on board and make sure that their products are made to those standards. There's obviously all the ISO accreditations that are now expected, and all the other health and safety accreditations. So there's a huge array of sort of things that provide added value that there was no expectation of maybe 30 years ago. So I think the whole client relationship thing has changed, and also in terms of how staff have to respond to that and understand that, we have to respond in a very different way than we did 30 years ago. So it's been a huge achievement to reach the 30-year mark, and I think also to have had such a successful track record over that period of time. We've remained strong financially. We've had to obviously react to a number of difficult situations over the years, as every business has to. And we've got staff who have been with us that length of time, ever since we first set up 30 years ago. So it's been great to be able to go on the journey with them and to celebrate with them. And I think we've got to very much focus on, what the next 30 years look like, and how we can continue with that strength and evolution.
And finally, a new 60,000 square foot purpose-built technology facility has opened to bring the Amscreen workforce under one roof. The building, which opened on February 17th, has been developed as a state-of-the-art facility to further develop the company's digital out-of-home range. With sustainable and energy-efficient alternatives, the building boosts Amscreen's green credentials. That's all for this week's Sign 7 News, but for now you can stay up to date with all the news in the industry at signlink.co.uk. View much more video content over on our Sign 7 News YouTube channel, or join in with the conversation on Twitter and LinkedIn. We'll see you next week.